we're excited now to be joined by Clark Lea, the linebackers coach here at Notre Dame. Clark, first, welcome to Notre Dame, your first signing day here. And a successful haul so far for you guys, particularly at your position. You guys have brought in a couple of linebackers that I know you're really excited about. I want to start by talking to you about David Adams, who is widely regarded as one of the better inside linebacker prospects in the country.
You know, David is a guy that's been committed here for a long time, and the thing you love about David is he chose Notre Dame, and everything that Notre Dame encapsulates. And so obviously our relationship's important, and I'll be an important part of his growth here and development over the next 4 years. But you have a kid that's bought into what we're doing and what this university is about. He certainly is a dynamic player in the box, played at a great high school that's got a storied tradition, has produced some of the best players in football. And so I couldn't be more excited to have a chance to work with him.
You talk about the tradition of his high school at Central Catholic in Pittsburgh, won a state championship this year. In your experience, when you get kids that had success at that level, team success, championship success, how does that impact the way they translate into the next level?
I think it's huge. Obviously, you're going to recruit guys that come from great programs and have that kind of success, and you're also going to recruit guys and trust that you can prepare them and train them in a way that's going to give them the same kind of foundation while they're here, because not everyone is fortunate enough to have come from that kind of situation. However, when you do have an opportunity to bring a guy in that's performed at a school like Central Catholic, it's just a quick assimilation. It is a quick rise to a leadership position, and a guy that as a coach you can lean on day in, day out early.
The other linebacker that's in this class presently is Drew White, another highly regarded kid out of Florida. In your estimation, what type of how would you describe him as a football player? Drew
is a great athlete. He has been playing on a fast track in Florida, so he's used to a high level of speed around him. I think that has prepared him for this stage. And I would imagine he's going to come in, and the game is not going to be moving fast for him. But a smart young man that has a desire for football, studies extra film, digs in and studies his playbook. And he's a guy that, again, I think will come in and have a quick transition because of the program he comes from.
You mentioned a quick transition for both of these young men as a result. Kids are always concerned about playing time when they're being recruited, and it's not uncommon for freshmen to not see the field, but I get the sense that you think that maybe these two kids are guys that might be able to contribute earlier rather than later.
Yeah, certainly you go to those programs and you recruit guys that are going to be ready for the stage. And again, I think I've got work ahead of me with them to get them to understand the defense and understand their role within the defense. Obviously, they're both candidates for us on special teams too, and we just never like to put a ceiling on what they're capable of. As soon as we can, we're going to get them information to get their transition started, and when they're here this summer, we will be pushing them every day to work into a role here, and we'll see where the chips fall in the fall.
I want to talk to you now about what you think you're capable of. You're new to the program. You come along largely with Mike Elko. He and Brian Kelly tabbed you very early on as someone they wanted to bring here along with Mike. I'm curious how you kind of characterize the kind of defense that you and Mike have run the last couple of years.
Coach Elko does a great job putting the players in positions to be successful, and I think what you'll see on film is us defend the opponent, and what they do well, we try to take away. We try to make the opponent play left-handed, and so it's an attacking defense. I mean, it's an aggressive defense, and I think above all else, we want to play with a high energy level so that our play can be infectious to the team. And so when you're watching on Saturday, hopefully you see a group of guys that are out there, and we're going to use more than 11. I'm sure we're going to, whatever talents a guy can bring to the table, we're going to try to use. And you should see a bunch of guys flying around having fun playing football.
One thing, he mentioned attacking defense, and to that point, the defense you've coached in recent years has been top 20 in the nation in turnovers generated, sacks, and in points allowed. So 3 very important things. As it pertains to what your linebackers do, how do you accomplish some of those things in terms of turnovers and sacks from that position?
Well, I think the credit goes to Coach Elko. I mean, he does a great job of putting those guys in position with play calls, whether that be blitzing or whether it be specific run fits against offenses. And my job is to coach them to be in position to finish the play. But certainly we like to blitz. We like to blitz at the second level, be that on base downs or be that on third down. And we try to train that skill every day so that when given the opportunity to cut loose, we're in the backfield wreaking havoc.
Now, the cover's not bare as you walk in here. In fact, one of the team captains next year, Niles Morgan, is a guy who's played a lot of really good football at this program. In the time that you've been able to spend with him, what are your impressions?
I think I would speak to Niles and then maybe speak to the group as a whole. It's a hungry group, and I think Coach Elston's done a great job with those guys, and they're balled in and excited. And so Niles Morgan has beat my door down every time I've been in town. We've been on the road a ton, but every time I've been in the building, he has shown up to talk football. And that means a lot to me, and I think it speaks to a guy who wants to go out as a champion. And as a coach, it just makes you invest even more, because my job is to send him off with the senior year that he wants and he desires, and so anxious to really get to work in earnest towards that.
I'm curious what the last month and change has been like in your world in terms of getting hired, making the move here, jumping immediately into this recruiting cycle, which you guys are wrapping up today. I'm just curious what the last 6 weeks have been like, and also if you could speak to the sense of relief that you probably naturally feel today as this part of it comes to an end.
I think, first of all, leaving a program at Wake Forest where, any time you're at a place with the amount of time we spend and the investment, the level of investment that we make, both on the players and on the coaches end, when you do it right, it's not easy to leave. And so left behind some relationships there that I'm excited to watch players continue to grow and move forward. And obviously the chance to win a bowl game there was huge for that program, and excited for them to launch forward from that. But the opportunity to come to Notre Dame, this is a once-in-a-lifetime situation for me, and obviously my relationship with Mike Elko and the belief in what Coach Kelly's doing here, to me it was just a no-brainer. And so certainly in transition, there's always a lot to be done, and we didn't have a lot of time to sit back and relax and soak it up. It was kind of pounding the pavement right from the jump. But we did get a quick orientation. I did find out where the coffee was in the building, which that was a day one responsibility. And again, you lean on guys like Coach Light and Coach Elston that know the ropes and can kind of show the way. Great reception on the road recruiting. That was a lot of fun. Everyone's excited to see Notre Dame through a school, and so that was unique and exhilarating for me. And then it was a relentless 3 weeks to try to get the best possible class we could, and today is a celebration, and we are going to celebrate. We may sleep tomorrow, but today we're going to be going full throttle through to the finish here, and celebrating with a group of young men that have made a decision that will absolutely change the trajectory of their lives, and that shouldn't be lost in this either. It's not just the football player that we're signing the person, and for these families to have the opportunity to send their son to Notre Dame, what a special occasion.
I know an important part of signing day that often gets overlooked is the fact that there's 2018 to think about, and particularly for someone like yourself that's new to the program, this is going to be kind of your full recruiting class coming in next year. How important is today and what happens in the near future in terms of you identifying kids and making contact and building for the future in that regard?
In some ways, you would like to say today starts that process. In a lot of ways, that process has been ongoing for a while, and that's just the nature of things now. Kids identify early, they develop early. And relationships start early, and so we've been working on that, and obviously I've jumped into that as I've been hired here, and that's going to be as we turn our attention to 2018, the next couple of months will be critical as far as getting into the picture with a lot of the top prospects in the country, and definitely for me, to have a full cycle is going to be important, and those relationships will be important. And anytime you have a chance to recruit players that you're going to coach, just a little bit of added responsibility there to identify the guys that are going to be great fits.
I know a lot of Notre Dame fans are curious about you, the coach, and we're going to get to see you out in the field a little more than a month from now when spring practice starts. What will people see when they see you out in the field working with your guys?
First of all, I would say it's just not about me. I try to coach in a manner that maximizes my players, but does not provide for me a stage to perform. That's not what I'm about. The coaches that coached me they built into me, but it was never about them. And that'll be important. And hopefully, what they see is a guy that's still young. So I'd like to hang on to that as long as I can. Coaching with energy, running right alongside the players, doing the drill for them. Showing them, not just telling them. And then a great teacher too. And all these things sometimes doesn't require me to be the most gregarious personality on the field, but if I'm communicating with the players effectively, if I've built a relationship, if there's trust there, what should be reflected is the play should be fast and fearless and aggressive and having fun. And you can tell when a player is performing in a healthy environment because they release the burdens and they're able to go. And certainly you can also tell when they're hindered by things off the field. And so my job, again, is to put them in an environment where they feel like they're supported, they're coached and taught at a high level, they know the defense inside and out, and then, again, for me to push them daily to their very best is ultimately the goal, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Sure. In terms of coaching a guy to play fast and play aggressively, how do you go about doing that?
I think there's for sure a physical component where a lot of linebackers in high school also do something else. So maybe they play running back, maybe they play tight end or whatever, and so you don't always get the focus on individual technique. And so my job and my responsibility is to build them from the ground up from a movement efficiency standpoint. And being able to do that will allow them access to the physical traits, the physical tools needed to play fast, literally to change direction instantaneously, to put their foot in the ground and accelerate in one step. And so literally trying to change the way they play from a tempo standpoint. I think more importantly, or maybe complementing that, is just a deep understanding of what we're trying to do defensively as far as concept goes. And so what is your responsibility? How does it fit within the whole? What is the advantage of a certain call, and how do we maximize that advantage? I think when you teach from that vantage point, I think what you see is guys that have a deeper understanding of the game, and the goal then becomes how can we out-execute the opponent. And so that will free guys up. When you're not thinking on the field or when you're not confused about what your responsibility is, generally speaking, you move a little faster to the football. And so that we won't sacrifice complexity, but if I can communicate it concisely and have a streamlined understanding, it should allow them to free up.
National Signing Day is exciting because it's the future of our program. It's like Christmas Day when all the letters come in and you're talking about these players that you've been recruiting for a long time and relationships you've built over time. More importantly, when you're recruiting people that are going to change your program and you're going to grow your program to another level, I think it's just exciting as from a competitive standpoint, knowing that this is the future. These are the guys who are going to take the field, that are going to make the difference and help us take this thing over the top.